Okay, so it looks like the stream is on, so I built myself a little base here at that incut, and then I tried taking off from there, and as you'll see, it's one of the weird airfields I've seen in DCS, but it's gonna be fun. So we'll take off from here. We'll probably go meet up with Shell 51 to do a quick refuel, and then we'll go strike sector Alpha 11 and fly back to base. It's a pretty simple mission, except the base where we're taking off from, well, you'll see when we get there. The runway is fairly short, and it's not over like very even ground, and so that's what makes it special. So I figured, like, since I think the Canadian Air Forces were never officially involved in the war in Afghanistan, maybe that could be like a place where they secretly operated from. I don't know. I'm creating alternate history here. So anyways, let's go fly and have fun. So this is our refueler. Now we're back in our cockpit. Lower the HUD brightness because this is early morning. Let's have a look outside. I'll turn the lights on. Lower the formation lights a bit. So this is the place we're taking off from, and as you can see, if I go near the runway, it's not super even. And so it looks like one of those isolated places. I like the fact that it's surrounded with mountains. Makes it look kind of cool. And just so you have an idea, I'll hit F7. So this is the target area. This square building right here is going to be one of our targets, and I think there's another one over here as well that we'll hit. And then we have those trucks under a camo net. This tent there with trucks. A few other targets in the area, and I think there's also like a vehicle here. Yeah, it's like a AAA vehicle that we might try to hit with our radar. Since we have laser guided bombs, we can strike moving targets like that. So that's the plan. If we can take off and stay in one piece. So one of the things I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put this in the manual mode, and I've got some frequencies here for the base. I tested 128 earlier. Seems to sort of work, but it's a bit awkward, as you will see. So I went to F10 to check the frequency. 128, okay. 128,000, enter. So I'm gonna show the awkwardness here.
Infield 1, request startup. Infield 1, clear for startup. Wind 313 at 2 meters per second.
So earlier I requested my startup, and then it gave me permission to taxi, but then it wouldn't give me permission to take off. So we'll see how it goes this time. Just gonna set my weapons ahead. This looks good. Okay, so I'll start with this. Maybe this one was set on that wing. And then here, let's just remove this. Go like this, set the SA page, data link. I think I'll be disturbed much by any EW activity. The mission, I'm actually building it. I'll try to add a little more to it later, but okay, let's ask for taxi.
Infield 1, request taxi to runway. Dispatch takeoff.
I think that's the same thing that I had earlier, so we'll just take permission to take off. There's nobody else here, so. I think I'll move past the first bump here. There we go. So at the line there, we're starting to move downwards. So let's give it full afterburner. And we're airborne. The rudder is centered. And now we're going to activate our TACAN 51X and see if our tanker's around. Are we gonna have trouble from the get-go? Is it 5-1? Let me check again. It's supposed to be 51X. Alright. What if I do 1? TACAN 1. Yeah, okay, so it's probably not set up properly. Sometimes when you save a mission a few times, the TACANs get messed up. So it looks like he's more or less in front of me. Yeah, and so that would make sense that he's there. Okay. So I'll continue climbing. I think he's at Angels 24, and I'll speed up. We'll burn some of the fuel so that we have something to put in. If you've seen other ones of my flights, I usually put the master arm on from the get-go, but to refuel, it's safer not to have it on. Burners. since I flew the F-16 and F-4 on Friday, I felt like using my switches on the base of my throttle to engage the autopilot, but again, it's like here in the F-18. Flown that plane so many times that I should know, but that's what happens when you fly multiple aircraft. You have to remember everything is. So that's one of the reasons for this flight. It's just to get familiar with it again. Such a nice plane. So I've put my J-dams on the outside pylons because I'll probably drop the 2 on the buildings initially, and then I'll use the laser guided bombs for the vehicles. So that's the plan. Trying to lead the tanker because I know he's going in that direction. Actually, we're trying to catch up with him. As you can see on the essay page, we can see his direction there. Burn some fuel a little bit. These mountains look kind of good. I don't know if you can see it in the stream. Like the detail. Oh, I guess we're supersonic now. Those towns below us to the left, that could be like a good interesting place to go have fun with bombing missions or helicopter missions. Oh, so it would appear that we've lost our TACAN. If I enter the right number, will it work? Yeah, now it works. It's a bit quirky. Can we see the plane? It's 10 miles away. Although it is pretty big. Yeah, okay, we have like an indication there in our helmet display. He's turning, so again, maybe we'll catch up a bit faster. .265 I think is our third channel, yes. So let's call tanker. Oh, I don't even have a tanker there. Oh, that's messed up. Got the AWACS, but I don't have the tanker. Well, so much for that. So I'll have to fix the tanker and the mission because it doesn't seem to work, and it should be like almost right in front of me. Why can't I see it? Is it that I'm blind, or is it that it's not really there? It's the invisible tanker. Can you understand something about that? Oh, 17.6, so he's much lower than me. But what on earth is he doing? Still don't have comms on him. So I have a tanker, but it would appear that it's a hostile tanker. It hasn't turned on its radio, and it's not gonna give us gas. Well, goodbye, tanker. It was nice knowing you. So now I'll head for my IP. The weird things that happen in the editor. That's why we test missions like this before we fly. So now I've made my flight much longer than it needed to be, and I've used a lot more fuel than I needed to. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna switch directly to the target waypoint, which is 12 miles. I'm gonna waypoint designate. I forgot to turn on my FLIR earlier. And so I will change a little bit my angle of approach because of the clouds there. Yeah, the target looks like it's in the clouds. Alright. I should have turned the other way around because the FLIR pod is on the left side. I'm gonna have to loiter for a little while because it's probably not ready. So we know our target is there. I'm gonna continue flying away from it for a little while. So let's see. This looks like it's good. Let's put it in air to ground mode. Back to our HSI. Now we can arm everything. Flare is not timed out. Guess we could turn our lights off since we're going to enter combat. Lights off. That's one of the things I like in the Hornet is you can turn them all off in one switch. Okay, so now it looks like we're starting to get an image on the floor. So what I'll do is I'll put myself like 90 degrees from the target. Try to have a look at it once it exits the cloud coverage there, which we can see in here. Gonna go narrow. Let's zoom in. That looks like our building, so we're gonna go for that. Perfect. Right. Put it in front of us. Okay. Let's set this there. And I guess we're in zone. Bombs away. Now we'll switch waypoint and try to target the next building, which we're also in zone. Bombs away. So as you can see, the bombs have gotten off the plane. We'll move to the right. And so our first bomb is going, I think, maybe further. I'm gonna zoom out quite a bit like this so that we can see maybe both explosions. There's one. And there's two. Kaboom. That went well. So I'll go back to waypoint 3. Waypoint designate that. Because I'll go get the trucks and the camo nets next. I'll try to find an angle where I can laze the bomb without having too much cloud cover blocking me. See some explosions. Okay, so let's not forget to turn this thing on. And now let's find our target. Maybe after putting the autopilot to barometric hold. There we go. And so now we're looking for the trucks right there. Okay. I'm on the wrong weapon, of course. This one. And so bomb away. I think I didn't arm the bombs. You see, that's what happens when you don't fly your planes often. E-fuse off. I need to put it on instant. So I fired a dud. I should have sort of known that because it said so. Now it's lasing, but it's not going to explode. go in infrared. Yeah, so there's no explosion. Okay, just for fun, since we're testing things here, I'm gonna switch to my radar. I'm gonna set it in GMT. We'll fly a little ways off from the target, and I'll try to spot the AAA. It's on a vehicle, and it's moving. And we'll try to hit the AAA, and then if we do, we can move down and get some guns actions on those trucks I wanted to hit with the bomb. How are we doing on fuel? 7,800. I think we're good enough. Alright, so about 8.5 miles. We'll wait till we're at about 10 to turn around. Again, I'm trying to go around those clouds so that I have like a clear line of sight to the target. To spot it with the radar is not going to be a problem, whether there are clouds or not. It's just that I need to designate it with my laser. And for that, the clouds can be a problem. So that, I think, is going to be one of our best approaches possible. If I could visually spot him, it would be nice too, but the visibility conditions early in the morning like that are not super great. So I guess we'll use the radar. Okay, so it looks like we've got more or less clear visibility. Let's turn towards it. Is there something that we can spot on the radar now? Is that a moving target? It looks like a whole lot of nothing if you ask me. Oh, there is. Just gonna get closer just to see if it is a target. It would appear nothing wants to work well in this mission, so that's not a AAA for sure. Okay, so let's get higher, because then they're gonna start shooting at us. So that should be a safe altitude. Let's try to figure out what's wrong. Okay, F10, sector alpha. So this guy, he's moving now. So maybe he's too small to show up on radar, because it's this guy. It's not a very big vehicle. Maybe I'll put a ZSU-23 instead. Bigger target for radar. So in terms of distance, we're at 5 point. Okay. And so here, I'll just go cycle through the different modes. Turn around and see if we can spot the moving targets. Okay, so that's not working. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our FLIR. We're going to move it to the trucks. We're going to designate that, and that's going to be our target for the last bomb. We're going to fly away from that one. Thank you, radar. We don't need you anymore. Fuel is still good. So this right here, these trucks, this is our next target. Turn around. LTDR there. I'll just double check my bombs. Looks good. Fuse on instant. Looks like we're clear without clouds. Get some speed going. Laser is armed on the correct code with armed bomb this time. Five seconds to release, holding the pickle button. Bomb's gone, I think. Yes, good. Gotta count down to timer. The laser, I mean. And now it's lasing. Kaboom. Everything's on fire. So now we can get off of air-to-ground mode and head back home. Our targets are sort of hidden a bit by the clouds. So we're heading straight into the sun. That's going to be fun. So can we see the targets down there? looking for fires, but can't see them. There is one thing we can do. F7. Yeah, now we see it. So we took care of that. Alright. So we'd have to come back if we wanted to get the AAA and some of the other targets, but this mission is supposed to be done with 2 planes, and I was just testing it with the first one. And then we can get the lights back on. Take a nice screenshot because the area looks nice. And one of the cool things that we can do once we're satisfied with watching the scenery is, since we're in single player, we can go faster with the time. So we're almost at our final, and this is the runway, so we'll start losing some altitude. So we'll get the autopilot off. Get the air brakes out. And turn left for final. And bleed some speed at the same time. Below 250, we'll get the gears down, we'll go full flaps. And let's call the tower and see if they're still alive. They gave me a message that the runway was occupied earlier.
Landing.
I'll have to change my radio call that I usually put to the Hornet. gonna try to land it like a almost an aircraft carrier landing. This runway is not super smooth.
Altitude. Altitude.
Our feet on the pedals. It's like landing inside of a fortress. We can see the walls all around. Alright, so I guess we didn't do too bad. I think this is the high nose wheel. So we'll just turn around and we'll go back to our initial position where we'll go park this aircraft. This is a funky runway. Yeah, I was looking for the parking where I put some C-130s. There it is. To the right. That's where the big boys parked, right there. And we're going to that area there. There were a few other planes parked over there that we saw. I don't know if you noticed. Let's try to get in our parking spot. Is it me or it's hot in here? Give the pilot some fresh air. You can see the numbers on the parking areas. We started at number 1, so we'll go back to number 1. To clip my wing on that truck, but what I want to do is turn the plane around so that they can push it back in this thing. There we go. That's not too bad, right? So we'll ask the ground crew to put in the wheel chucks.
Chief, place the wheel chucks. Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
And we'll shut it down. So a nice little fun place to try to take off and land from because of that very weird runway. It's got a few bumps, but we made it back. We didn't hit like everything the way we wanted it, but we got 3 out of 4 targets. I guess that's good enough for me. I hope you enjoyed.